The Economic Outlook and Revenue Assessment Committee meets at the beginning of the legislative session to help predict how much money the state of Idaho will bring in during the next fiscal year.
And we sit down, we hear from economists, we hear from our universities, we hear from the Associated Taxpayers of Idaho.
Each member of the committee submits their own individual projections.
Generally speaking, I would say everyone was pretty optimistic about a continuation of the growth that we'd seen.
For reference, Senator Woodward projected a little over $5.8 billion in revenues. Representative Clow projected nearly $6.3 billion.
There was a little bit of political struggle going on there, and to finally get something out of that committee, it ended up being $6.25 billion. And that was higher than I thought. That was higher than many of the committee members thought.
The other party they hear from is the governor's office.
We chose to go ahead and accept the governor's recommendation, which was $6,407,000,000.
Further increasing their initial proposal. The process is normally finished within the first week of the session,
This year, it was 2 months before we set that revenue projection.
leading to what Woodward believes is one of the reasons for the budget shortfall.
So we had already committed more than $10 billion. More than two-thirds of the budget had been committed prior to the legislature ever setting a cap.
This session, the three biggest pieces of legislation were school choice vouchers, property tax cuts, and income tax rate reductions.
And so we find ourselves in this position where we don't have the revenue.
Klaus says the projected carryover from last year was off, which led to the change.
So the very first number that we started with came in $100 million below what we expected to start with.
A few options are available to address this in the upcoming session.
Look at our budget stabilization fund, which is over $800 million. We can balance our budget by pulling $56 million out of that.
We have to make cuts or transfer money from the reserves or change the amount we're collecting. Those are the options.
And as it stands now, going into the latter part of the fiscal year, the budget is unbalanced.
We were maybe too optimistic, and we saw what we thought was a fairly large surplus.
I thought that 2, 3, or 4 years down the road, we might have a problem. It turned out it was only about 3 months down the road.